Okay, so I'll call this meeting to order, and it's the Lisle Township meeting. We can have a roll call
Supervisor Hewitt,
here.
Trustee Robinson.
Here.
Trustee Page.
Here.
Trustee McGovern.
Yes.
Trustee Geis.
Yes.
Assessor Trowbridge.
Here.
Commissioner Young.
Here.
Great. Next is the pledge of allegiance, which we've already fulfilled. And public comment, we didn't have any, we covered that previously and we didn't have any new ones. But Claire Goldenberg had a second one for the, for here.
Yes. Hello, my name is Claire Goldenberg and I have been watching this board twist themselves up for bad for almost 4 years, but it is almost over. The voters have spoken loudly that they are done with you as well. Well, while you are still here, possibly you might have something positive for our community. You might do something positive for our community before you go. Is there any proposal that you can put forward as a board and approve that would have a lasting benefit? Maybe you could increase the number of food pantry hours if they're open. Maybe ask for one Saturday a month that the pantry is open. Maybe you could retire the senior services director. Something good before you go. Think about it. You've got a couple of months. Thank you.
Okay, any other, anyone else here that had wanted to do two public comments? I wasn't sure, so if anybody had that understanding. Okay. Then next is the accountant's report. There was a amendment in there. There was apparently a issue with the a number of pieces. So one of the pieces that we need Priscilla's help with wording was the final check amount needs to be revised. There was one check that was pulled. There was an understanding that there was a check that needed to be made that really didn't need to be made, that $5,000 one. We went through, or I went through. We're at the accountant's report.
That was the bill that was for some.
Oh,
Yeah, but she approved paying.
So we need to talk. So any which way, we need to focus on one by one, can't have side conversations. Trustee Robinson.
Appreciate it. We went through the audit expenses today, trustee, Paige and myself. We usually deal with this during audit expenses. And we have traditionally, when we pull checks, just decrement the amount that we have on our floor. So I think we are planning to deal with that. I'm not sure that we need to deal with it now.
Okay, this is the main report, so I just wanted to address that there have been changes. We did alter it. So that's from the accountant's report.
What did they alter?
Raise your hand.
Trustee Geist.
I think it would be important to clarify for the board as well as our participants in the room, why there was a bill paid for $5,000 that we need to adjust. I think, because no one understands.
I don't know.
Everyone's like, what are you talking about? So could you just give the backstory to that?
So in the board packet, there is a bill that is about to be approved. Or not a bill, a order, a change in the contract for Renaissance maintenance. That is likely to come through because there was basically they realized that there was one extra window. So the contract needs to be changed because of that one extra window. So instead of having the amount that was previously accepted, which was in our contract, there was a realization that there was another window that needed to be dealt with. That's why. Highway Commissioner Young.
What's that got to do with the financial?
Because there was $5,000 more in the financial report than is going to be likely approved because there was a check in there that the accountant thought he needed to put in there, but it's a change in the contract. So there's not a check that's gonna
Accountant's
go up.
report include the checks that are going to be approved at today's meeting.
Yes,
They do. They didn't last long.
so they should, and
No. The financial report is as of February 28th. The checks being approved today, I believe, are today's date, which would be after February 28th. Which is my concern, but I think we briefly checked the last meetings before.
Yes,
I think
and
that's somewhat misleading, because then you don't know exactly where you are with the budget with respect to the checks. You're communicating tonight. Also, I'd like to point out that they did correct the financial, the fiscal year in the column from 24 to 25 to correctly report what year we're in. Also, they got rid of stockholders' equity and put in fund balance for the accounting, it should be for townships. But I don't think it's clear which checks are in there and which. So if if it's a 5,000 on the run today, it's not in there, so you're gonna have to bring it up.
it is in there. It was in there. So that's why I had it's still in there. So,
It's on the agenda, but on the checklist, but it's, what page is the checklist?
yeah, it's in there. Yeah, it's
Right there, isn't it that one? Is that some? Capital improvements? I think it was that one.
oh, cause I just went through and did this. I put all these numbers in.
It was right
Here,
there.
this
yeah.
one.
It's
So that's where it is.
check number 51974.
And what is the date of the check?
It says 3/12/25.
What is
Yes.
the date of the financial statement? February 28th,
No, it says March 12/2025.
on the financial statement?
That we're looking at. Oh,
That's not the
sorry,
financial
sorry.
statement.
Sorry.
The system wouldn't do it. If the system ran it today, the system would have said today. This has been a problem that's going on ever since we got.
Well, the whole piece of this is that this needs to be a payroll for the month of February, so it's gonna end on the 28th. And some of these pieces, they very clearly say it's for the month of February, so we can't add in today's information when this is, the whole report was for the month of February.
Then you didn't even discuss this. But where do we stand on the audit? Where's the audit?
The audit is ongoing. We expect that it should be completed in the next month.
That's what we heard last month, and the month before, and the month before.
Okay, well, there was a change in the person on the ground, and we went to Sickage and they told us what they needed. It has been fulfilled, so it
What
should
did they
literally,
need that we didn't have previously provided?
I don't recall which, it wasn't us that missed it. It was a error in communication on the accountings and in Sickage's side. So that's been solved. We should have it any day. And sometime this month, I'm sure that that will happen. They apparently have
Before our
all
term
the
expires?
information that they need. I'm sure before our term expires. There's nothing that we can give them. When they asked for any information, it was not from the township side, it was from the accountant side. So that has all been fulfilled to the best of my knowledge, and I expect that it will be done within really the next month.
Did the accounting firm explain why there was a delay? Just so that we.
Again,
learn from it?
there was a change on the ground help in the accounting firm.
But that's not our problem.
I understand that totally. It was not our fault that there is a delay in the audit.
Right.
So that in that changeover, apparently the former person that was involved didn't submit something to the Sickage. Now that it has been understood that there was the pieces missing, it has all been rectified and they have all the information that they need. Highway Commissioner Young.
I'm confused. Did Lauterbach and Amen not supply something to Cincinnati? Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm saying that one of their former employees did not.
So Lauterbach and Amen. did
So one
not
of their
supply
former
the
employees.
information to the auditor in a timely fashion.
No, I'm saying that one of their former employees did not.
But
I'm not
that's
saying that the
that's-
firm did.
Yeah, but that's the firm, and the firm has a responsibility when they make a transition, that all knowledge share is smoothly and accurately transferred, so there is not a break in continuity. So that's their failure, not the employee's failure.
Okay, again, it's the former employee that did this.
It's
And They
I
didn't
think we
know
should be
about
moving
it.
on. We're
So-
getting back and forth. We're getting into the weeds. We need
So
to move
moving on, is there anything else in the accountant's report before we go to the approval of for agenda item 6? Okay, great. Approval for Lifeway mobility bill for $9,675. How our township administrator, interim township administrator, Jim Marino, do you want to speak to this?
Yes, in your packet, you have information that I provided regarding Lifeway Mobility. They're the company that's going to replace the elevator lift that, is not working. So I reviewed the contract that you have with them. And they are ready to proceed with the first phase, which is ordering the lift itself. We did receive the permit from the village of Lisle. And the plans for the installation have been reviewed and approved. So the contract with Lifeway indicates that before they can place the order with the manufacturer, they require the payment of about 50% of the balance, which is $9,675. So that's what needs to be approved tonight. So the check can go to Lifeway. Then they'll place the order for the equipment. And then keep in touch with them and see when it's ready to be delivered and installed.
Do they have a timeline?
I don't know yet. I'll get in touch with them and let them know that it's been approved and then find out which timeline it is for the manufacturer.
It's just important, I think, to have that information when you make a commitment, so that you don't hold them responsible for delivery, right?
Anyone else have any questions? Trustee Robinson?
I just want to confirm, we've already been reimbursed by the insurance company for this, correct?
No, it's a 50% situation where we've been reimbursed for half of the previous amount. So meaning the whole thing was $20,000, right? And we only had to pay 10,000 for the first portion. So this is a reimbursement situation where it's only going to cost us $1,000 in the end. So the insurance company is going to reimburse us for $8,675.
So we don't have it yet, but we will.
Yes.
Pay this.
Yes,
Thank you.
So we just need a motion.
yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the payment of $9,675 to Lifeway Mobility.
Second?
Thank you, trustee Geis and trustee McGovern. Any other discussion? And a roll call vote.
Trustee Geis?
Yes.
Trustee McGovern?
Yes.
Trustee Page? Yes. Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Supervisor Hewitt?
Yes. Next is the approval for JRM consulting bill for $1,837.50. Jim, would you like to start the discussion?
Well, this is the standard work that JRM does for the township as far as providing networking and back and forth. So this is for the work they've done going back to January 17th until February 20th. This needs to be approved for payment.
Is this what we're paying each month?
No, it varies. It's not a flat amount. It depends on the hours they put in, and that depends on what they're being asked to do or what they need to do. So it does fluctuate.
Every month we don't pay it. Every month we're not billed.
But every month we have ongoing IT security support with them?
Yes. But there's a flat fee for some of the work, like for example, the firewall. There's some things that are paid and that are charged once a year annually. So we do not have like monthly have this bill. It's a random amount that is based on the need that we have.
Yeah, I understand, but that can get costly. It'd be really interesting to see if it could just be a monthly fee for support services that just keeping that in mind, I think I mean, obviously I don't make that decision because we're on our way out, but like in discussion with the next board, I really think that there's a lot of value to working with an agency that won't just have a flat fee that's available 24/7. Respond within, a couple hours to calls. I had referred someone to John Lang, a company like that. There's no surprises, right? This is what it is, and no matter what. I know that you've been very happy with JRM overall, but I know that they're not on call 24/7. There's an issue at night. I mean, right? So anyways, just something to keep in mind.
And when I'm looking,
Productivity and also protection of a lot of very sensitive data here.
and when I'm looking at this, there's two bills. So this last bill came in very late. I realized that the agenda should have been amended to include the second bill, so it would be 1,837.50, and there's the 1,104.96. So there's two bills that are from JRM.
Same month.
The second bill was for was more for a yearly piece of software. So in the same, it wasn't the same, it was more software and an annual expense, whereas this first bill is for labor and other expenses. So if you look at in the check register, you can see the explicit differences.
I'll make a motion to approve payment of JRM Consulting invoice numbers 7531 and 7541 in the amount of $1,037.50 and $1,104.96.
I'll second.
Thank you, trustee McGovern and trustee Robinson. Any other discussion? And a roll call vote, please.
Trustee McGovern,
Yes.
trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Page.
Yes.
Trustee Dice. Supervisor Hewitt.
Yes, motion passes. Okay, for the next piece, so we previously had been using Craig's services in Amico for, I don't know how many years.
Sorry.
You're skipping. I think you're skipped over number 8.
Oh, sorry, the IRS, approval of the IRS, United States Treasury, 1,659.99 to settle outstanding payments related to the required changes made to Form 941 for 2021. Township Administrator Jim Marino, would you like to start the discussion or?
I've not been involved.
Okay,
before I
so
came back.
this is the final bill that has come to us from the IRS. For the transition back to, that we've been trying to settle for some time.
Did you get a copy? Was that in the package? Of the IRS bill? I didn't see it.
It's in the packet. It's in the expenses and the checks. So,
No, but the bill from the IRS.
yes, it's in the expenses. It's in the packet for the checks to be signed, not in the
We
packet.
never
there.
saw it.
So,
So what's
okay,
it for specific?
again, it's for the back payment and I can, where's the checks?
All the years?
Yeah,
Because
it's
the
just for
IRS
2021. That's exactly, it's exactly what I've been understood and
Yeah.
Jim can pull it up.
I wasn't here for that.
No,
Right, but
yes.
it's in those checks is my,
So why wouldn't we put it in part of the package?
there was some
On the
sensitive,
agenda, I didn't, nothing.
okay, so there was some sensitive information there that I didn't think needed to be sent out to the public. But again, here's, if you want to see it, there it is.
1960.
That's what I was looking for.
51960. Let me try to find a check.
Oh, the actual check.
The
Okay, got it.
physical check, pick the back. There.
Okay.
Well, you might as well. do it.
It's a bill from the
How close are
IRS.
you, Jim?
I got it.
He came back. He had a choice.
I feel like we should sing the welcome back Connors.
It just says 2021 payroll.
This is, we made changes to you December 31, 2021, 9/31. So it only covers 21.
Yes. Assessor
That'd be nice
Trowbridge.
to know.
Well, that's exactly what I said. Assessor Trowbridge.
I believe the IRS payment of 1659.98 is made in result of not filing a correct 941. It was filled out, but was never sent to the IRS. It does not have anything to do with IMRF. It's a direct result of not taking a payment, making like the 941 payment over to the IRS.
It didn't get uploaded for QuickBooks, I remember.
Well, we need a
So this has
motion.
nothing to do with the IRMF profit.
All right, we need a motion to
Yeah.
approve or deny.
It's the same year, and I apologize for misspeaking that there was two things going on at
Sorry?
the same time.
Yeah, it is actually to get the meeting moving, yes, and not get into arguments, it is actually.
Thank you.
So,
Is there a motion to pay the IRS the bill,
Wait
the
a
amount
minute,
that we
wait a
need?
minute. There was no argument, people just needed to understand.
Okay, so
All right.
again, we need to raise our hands. We need to raise our hands.
At the table from people who were paying to be there.
There's endless hostility at this table. Could we raise our hands, please? Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve payment to the IRS in the amount of $1659.99. Settle the outstanding payments related to physical card changes made to Form 941 for 2021.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? And a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Page.
Yes.
Trustee McGovern.
Yes.
Trustee Dice.
Yes.
Supervisor Hewitt.
Yes. Okay, and next is the purchase of BP or Shell gas station cards to total 4,000 for general assistance. So in the past, there was a independent small business owner, Craig's, where we sent everyone that needed to get gas assistance to, very close by. It was very helpful for everyone involved. We cannot do that anymore. His business situation has changed, so whether he's retiring or going out of business, one of those two things is happening. But we need to switch and not go with, find a new option for gas assistance. And so that being the case, we looked around and we're trying to find another place where we could find fuel assistance. There isn't a small business owner that we could find in the township that we could have the same voucher type of situation where we had vouchers and then they went and redeemed their gas. That doesn't exist that we could find. There's two different large gas companies in the township, Shell and BP. So when we were looking online for a place to find gas for the people that are getting gas assistance, frankly, Shell has the most convenient way to buy digital cards for gas assistance. You can go online, you wouldn't have to store them here. And we could literally, like this, buy cards. And there's you can get a digital card. You don't have to store them, like I said. So it's a very convenient way to do that. BP is what we would most likely need to be doing is buying a bunch of them in advance. And we'd have to deal with the storage issue, which is not as convenient. And so from a variety of different perspectives, this is probably the most convenient way to do this is with Shell. There's 5 of them in the township. There's 4 BPs. So, if we want to have general assistance with gas, then it would be one of these two methods or one of these two companies that would be the most likely ones to use. Trustee, Geist.
Okay, so the first thing, I think we should be mindful that these are public meetings that anyone can view. And I don't think we should speak about the status of someone's privately owned business, so I hope that you would retract that statement about Craig's Amicus. That was completely out of line. I would be really upset as a business owner if that was announced that way. I think it was completely insensitive and irresponsible. As far as the digital cards go, I don't think that there's an issue with storing physical cards. I would rather have physical cards. Not everybody who's going to need a gas card will necessarily have easy access to technology or the ability to print a digital card to take it to a dealership. So I would prefer that either company that we decide to go with, that we stick with physical cards so that the general assistance person in charge of general assistance can physically hand that card to a person.
So what would happen is they wouldn't be going home to get a card or to print it. We would be doing that internally, so we would be handing them a piece of paper. So it wouldn't be bought and
Okay, so
done
it
by
wouldn't
the,
be emailed or anything like that.
no,
Okay.
so it would be literally printed here.
Mhm.
They wouldn't have to have any kind of technology. They would just have to have the ability to take the piece of paper. Trustee Robinson.
I'm sorry, I'm still, it's important to provide the service. I agree completely. I'm still not sure logistically how this is going to work. You print a piece of paper that basically says, here's $100. Is that what it is?
No, what it would have is, it would have a code. Just
Okay.
like, you can print
I
a
understand the concept
ticket
of a code.
for you would have a scan code. So you would have like, how you can print a concert ticket at
Yeah,
home.
right.
Then you would have that barcode and they would share that barcode when they went to the Shell gas station. So they would go to the Shell gas station, go in, instead of paying for it, they would show this piece of paper. They would scan that code, and then voila, you have your $20 fill of gas.
So what's the value to you?
So
of
we
the
have-
versus the-
Trustee Robinson is answering these questions, so we raise our hands. Trustee Robinson, did you have anything else?
So is it a $20 payment? Is it a fill? That's what I'm not sure. Do we
So-
get
so-
reimbursed, say, we filled this car, it was $37.48, and we're gonna decrement that from the 4,000?
No, so here's what happens is that each person gets a certain amount for the size of their family or the size for their need. So right now for one person, it's $100.
Okay.
You're not going to fulfill that $100 in one fill. Hopefully not. That would be you'd have a huge tank.
Okay.
But you would probably have a $40, $30 bill. And then, so you're gonna come back with that piece of paper and you're gonna send it and you're gonna show it again. And so instead of basically right now, what we do is a voucher where they still have that $100, but they sign a voucher for a $20 fill. And so they might get, and I'm pulling $20 out of my posterior, but they would get 5 then fills for $20. And it's essentially like a voucher, but a digital voucher. Trustee Geist.
So I'll just go back. I still think it should be a physical card. A piece of paper is too easy to lose, too easy to get damaged, and then it's wasted money that we paid for and may never be utilized.
It can be reprinted. So as opposed to a card that is then lost,
Because you can put a card in your wallet.
yes, you can. And you can also lose a card from your
Okay,
wallet.
that's gracious.
So you can either way, you can do a physical card, either one, you can have a physical or a digital. So if you want to go with Shell, they happen to have both digital and physical. BP just has the physical. When we're dealing with some of the food pantry stuff, just so you know, we often have people that lose their cards. It's a thing. Clerk Pollitt, just everything up.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we are showing our appreciation publicly to Craig's Amicus,
Yes.
who has been the one and only for probably decades to help
Decades.
us out. And they have been such a great community member that I think we really need to show some appreciation and acknowledge them.
Of course, they've
1000.
done a fabulous job. We were very distraught when we realized that we could not work with that company and him anymore. He has been bent over backwards for years to work with the township.
Throughout
He has
the
been amazing on every level. So really stand up person and he's had a fabulous working relationship with the township. absolutely agree. Trustee McGovern,
I just wanted to comment that I think that the physical cards are much less easier to use than the paper. Or, you stick it in your glove box, it's just, it's. I think it's easier to use. We're
the
gonna lose money.
physical or
Yeah,
the,
the physical, I would not go with the paper. There's just too many papers, when you walk out of here, you're carrying a lot of papers. And I just think it's hard to sort out, so you want one that sticks out, you can just put it in your car, put it in your wallet. I wouldn't bother with paper at all, I wouldn't give it the option.
so, and again, we can, both Shell and BP do this, so.
Ease of use at the station too, that's.
Okay, and just so we're clear, it's much easier to work with the Shell website and the Shell purchasing of all this than the BP. So just from looking at their websites and whatnot, Shell's is easier to use. So if you want to decide on one company to go with, if that's the piece that we come back to is which company to go with, BP or Shell. Clerk Collins.
I don't know if I missed it, or, is there a service fee with any of these?
No, I haven't seen
There's,
any.
okay, there's nothing on our end, but nor the client's end.
I haven't seen any.
Okay,
Do the cards expire?
No, neither company has any expiration.
You said Shell has more locations?
5. BP has 4.
Yeah. I'd make a motion to go with Shell and physical cards.
Okay, the process of how to do, that wasn't really like the physical card versus digital card, that's not actually in. If you prefer to change the motion to require a physical card and take away the digital option. Okay,
I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of Shell gas gift cards to total 4,000 for general assistance.
thank you,
A second.
thank you. Any other discussion? And it, just so we're clear, it's about $1,000 a month in, I gave you all the numbers for the previous 2 years, months of cards. I just wanted to make sure that if we did decide to buy in bulk and decide for essentially a quarterly amount to have on hand, which is essentially what would likely happen if we decided to buy in bulk, that's where it would be. Okay, and then any other discussion?
I was just gonna ask if, that motion did not say the, paper or a card, is
I
that?
just said Shell.
She said card, right?
Card,
Not paper?
Gift
or-
cards, I said Shell gas gift cards to total.
Okay, not paper.
I
the
just said gift cards.
the- Okay, sorry, I
No
just want to
problem.
make sure I'm writing this right.
Okay.
Is there
And a
any
roll,
kind of discount with the bulk?
I have not seen any. And I've not heard of any. And could we have a roll call vote, please?
Trustee McGovern,
Yes.
trustee Page.
Yes.
Trustee Guys.
Yeah.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Supervisor Hewitt.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, now to the audit of bills and claims. Agenda
Make a
item-
motion to conduct the audit of bills and claims.
Second,
And then any other discussion and a roll call vote, please?
Trustee Page.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson.
yes.
Trustee McGovern.
Yes.
Trustee Guys.
Yes.
Supervisor Hewitt.
Yes. Then the approval of bills and claims.
I'll make a motion to approve the Township and Road District bills and claims as presented. We need to discuss. There's no line in here about discussion.
That's right after the motion.
Okay,
I'll second the motion.
thank you.
And now we're discussing. So trustee Page, you want to start?
Trustee Robinson and Clerk Polowitz and Jen and I conducted the audit this afternoon, and we have a list of checks that I believe everything has been taken care of, but just for the record, is it okay if I read the numbers out and we give it the thumbs up? The 5191, this required a second signature. This was check to you that we need a second signature on. Has that been obtained? That, because I
You
think
mean approval besides?
besides
approve
you,
that?
right?
He's got to,
Okay, so you can sign it.
but I don't think he has, so perhaps we should delay this till the next one.
You
Just
can,
fine.
if you could sign it now, yeah, we'll get it in there today, yeah. Everything is super easy.
Well, yeah, Apologize for that.
It's okay, this time,
We'll forgive you.
this time, don't cross
I'll
us
vote
again.
no.
And then, we have a series of checks that, were for general assistance, that the names had to come off of the run, and they have, I'm just gonna read the numbers. Starting 51918, 51920, 51922, 51927, 51928, 51929, 51930, 51932, 51939, 51943, 51965, and 51964. Yeah, those are all, everything has been removed, okay.
51965 as well.
That I was out of order, but I said 6.5 and then 6.4, because I didn't fix it on my sheet earlier. Okay, let's see, 51899. Not on the 51899 and 51868, neither were on the register. Have we figured them out?
Yes,
Yes, they're paid less.
Yeah,
Okay.
those are the two that would pay.
They're
less.
Right, United
For-
Healthcare
Paid
and
less.
MetLife, okay.
Right.
We are good with them. And then 51938, Dutchman Heating and Cooling, the second signature, we are complete. 51971, Verizon needs a second signature.
Well, from who?
Okay,
I just don't remember. Diane and I signed all the ones that.
and then John came and signed his portion, right? So we are good there.
Maybe if there's just one or two that.
Okay.
that needs something.
51952 needs a stamp and a signature. That was 344. We are good. 51974 requires approval. That was for, I didn't write it down. Debbie, did you? 51974.
That's the, that's,
Should be pulled
that's the one that's pulled.
to pay after,
Okay,
that's Renaissance.
that's the $5,000 one. Okay. We're almost done. 51946 requires a stamp. We are good. 51959 requires a stamp. That was for Renaissance. We're good. 51962 warehouse direct. We are stamped. Okay. 51907. That one's missing.
51907.
Yeah.
It was a credit. I got it. Wonder if it was processed last month. Because it falls into that range of adjustments that were made, carried
Okay.
forward.
It's written like a void, but I don't know.
And that is it for my list.
Did you mention one that was paid to United Health?
We had two, we had United and MetLife that were, the checks were physically in the pile today, but they were not on the check run. I believe they were on last month's check run is what,
yes, that's what happened. They were ACH checks that were pulled last month. And so that's what we're talking about. And the other one, I have last month's check run right here. So what was the other one?
MetLife, and it's 51868 for $3,700.
Well, my, I can't address it.
Okay,
What I know about United is that the checking account got switched. And I was told last month that United got double paid.
Yeah.
It was paid with a check and paid electronically.
okay,
And then when I talked to John Light, I understood that we weren't gonna pay United this month because they were double paid.
okay.
So I did not submit.
Because we
an
switched the
invoice.
checking account, right? We
Right.
closed the old account, we opened a new one, and so you would have had a bridge there.
But you don't have a check this month for United.
For United, yeah, I
Yes,
did not
we
give,
do.
There's a check in the
Yes.
pile.
I
Oh,
did
the
not,
check stub.
Okay,
you
Yeah.
did not have an invoice from us.
Well, we could, let us look at it.
okay.
Okay.
How would, or
I just-
clerk call
I
it?
just want to clarify, you said you have the check stub, you don't have the actual check to
Right.
send out.
Right,
It was an ACH,
Okay,
so there's not gonna be a check.
but it was on, last month's check list.
Yes,
Check register.
Yeah, I had a physical check that I mailed, and then I understood it got paid electronically as well, so they were double paid last month, and we weren't gonna pay them this month, from what John said.
got it.
Okay.
So don't mail that check.
it wasn't,
Okay.
it wouldn't be a check.
There
won't be a
It's an
check. And it
ACH.
wasn't gonna be
You're right,
electronically
you're right.
paid.
So, yeah, it's paid out.
Thank you.
And that was the only
Trustee Robinson.
Yeah, the only thing I'll add to the discussion is that we will talk about it later, but there's a motion to increase the amount of the charge of what we're gonna have to pay to replace the windows. And that's what we're gonna, the 5,000. It inadvertently got interpreted as create a check for $5,000.
Oh.
So that's why we pulled that check. The check the register that we're gonna sign off is gonna have to be decremented by that $5,000. Because that's not gonna be a check that goes out.
Okay.
Right, and so that's what that is, that closes the gap on that. I will make one point, the reason they miscounted the number, they miscounted the number of windows when they sent the estimate to us.
Weird mistake.
Well, they worked off of the old plans, and that's partly why we had said, let's,
Physically come here and
They didn't physically come at all?
my understanding is not, so. The total amount will still be less than what we approved for the placement of windows, because we put a buffer in there, but it will be, so that's what created that $5,000.
it's so odd for this size of a job.
The plans on file with the village are old.
Right. but-
That's what they went through.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, for this,
You think
size of- they should have physically came here.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, any other discussion?
We'll find out.
Oh, that could be disastrous.
Okay, then, and minus the amount in some of the holes for the numbers in the check run. We're not entirely sure, why some of those holes are there with the numbers, whether it's an ACH situation or whatnot, so understanding that we're gonna speak with the accountant tomorrow, because we did realize that there is a number of numbers that would be potentially missing. Whether like between here, Craig's, and between Warehouse Direct, why is there so many numbers missing? So that's gonna be figured out tomorrow. Trustee Geist.
Just a really quick question, back to the windows. Before we let them know that we've been approved to spend more, I really think it's important that they do a physical measuring of these windows. I mean, if they have not been here physically, before they order them, that could be bad.
They did do that.
That's why we,
That's what they
Yeah,
found.
that's how this came
Well,
about.
that's how they found out. Okay, I was like, this could be really bad. Like, can you imagine they show through windows and they're like, oh, these are.
Apparently, when the RFP was sent out, it was the original drawings for the building
Yeah.
from the village of Lisle. And that window is the one in the food pantry director's office.
Got it. Okay.
It's not showing on that. Apparently, it was added after
Sure.
the original plans were.
Okay, so they did physically. That's all. I was
Right,
just making
so
sure.
then they
That's
came by
a
with-
large sum of money.
Right, they came
Okay.
by to,
Okay.
before they placed the order, they
Yeah.
wanted to do an actual count, and that's when they realized.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
okay, so a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Page,
Yes.
trustee Robinson.
Yes,
Trustee McGovern.
Yes.
Trustee Guys.
Yes.
Supervisor Hewitt.
Yes. Okay, we're paying our bills. Next is approval of the change order with Renaissance Maintenance to add a window to the window replacement project, which Jim has really explained quite a bit. Is there anything else that you'd like to add? Okay, any other question, or would anybody like to make a motion? Then we can get to discussion.
I'll make a motion to approve a change order with Renaissance Maintenance for $5,000 to add a window to the window replacement project.
I'll second.
Thank you, trustee McGovern and trustee Page. Any other discussion? And a roll call vote, please.
Trustee McGovern.
Yes.
Trustee Page.
Yes.
Trustee Guys.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson.
yes,
Supervisor Hewitt.
Yes. Thank you. Next is discussion of Lisle Township Road District 25-26 fiscal year and budget appropriation ordinance. So Highway Commissioner Young.
I apologize for not getting in more detail. But my. Oh, for my computer. Failed. It took me like 2-3 days to get it fixed. So I was scrambling just to get this. What I'm passing out now is a comparison of the budget from this year to last year. Just to give you an idea of where we're going. There's basically two changes. There's a $200,000 increase in the road program. The development program. And that's probably overstated because I'm using MFT money for part of it. And the Build Illinois program for part of it, because you have to use the Build Illinois program before the end of the fiscal year. So you gotta draw that money down. But I'm concerned about, because it's 1,000,007 was the engineer's estimate. And we're doing what I would consider our normal number of square feet of roads. And then we added steeple run. The steeple run was going from Maple past where it changes to Meadow Lake to the first or second cul-de-sac. With Steeple Run, if you drive down Steeple Run on both sides of the road in particular areas, you see humps. He's not too concerned about it. I'm scared that we're gonna increase our costs because of that. And it wasn't taken into account in the engineering estimate. If it's lower than that, that road program will be decreased by 2 million. I put it in there just to be safe. And we're spending 1,000,007, which is a huge amount of money. Usually it's $700,000-800,000, maybe 900. But it's just that the steeple run problem, not problem, but we added that to the normal road program. So we're doing a lot more road than we did before. The other major difference is $200,000 increase in labor. We need to hire somebody as we look forward. It came up in a decent study committee. Yes, we went through the process of how everything works. They got done and said, you know, you should consider your succession. How is this gonna work when he leaves and the other two guys? What do you do? Very valid point. We had talked about it briefly before, but now is the time to add the guy. And when I took over, when I was, well, one down from when I took over, because I squeezed. And we didn't have enough people to, if you had a real bad snowstorm, everybody's on call. Everybody's on call all the time. Before we had one more person, so you could rotate. You could give a guy a day off. With a bad snowstorm. We don't have that capability. As a matter of fact, we use some temporary. So looking forward, we're gonna have to get somebody in who we think, well, I think we have identified the person that should be able to take his spot, but then we need somebody to take that in. Who's very well qualified person. So that's why we're in the guy. So that's the formula. Yes, sir.
Can I ask, what changed that you're gonna take on more responsibility for Steeple Run? Is that coming off someone else's responsibility list? You said you have to do more in Steeple Run? Is that what you said?
No, if I said that, I didn't mean like
Although I
that.
understood
My
totally.
concern. We laid out our normal road program, and then we added to do in the road program, Steeple Run is our road.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
That's clear.
Yeah,
Thank
the
you.
whole
Now I
thing.
understand.
And we're not doing all of it, we're doing 90% of it, 80%, 8/10 of a mile.
4,000 feet.
You're replacing,
Yeah,
you're resurfacing.
Right.
Whatever your magic is.
we knew it was coming up, and we thought, if we're gonna use MFT money, we know.
Thank you. I misunderstood. Okay.
No, it's. So that's the difference in the budget. There's a typo. And I did this. And what I sent you on the first fund, the expense was $1,669,000. But I went to the summary of the funds for the total amount, and I put down $1,629,000. So the total of the levy, of the budget was in there. Because I just carried the wrong number. So the total is $5,164,000. Any questions? Only 2 questions. The lower amount of money in the one fund for trees and things, that's for our normal,
Just landscaping parkway.
Yeah. Because we do landscaping parkway work every year, part of what we do.
You said normal, but you define, I don't know what you do, so.
We trim trees, we take care of parkways, she disagrees.
You take them down.
No, we trim trees. And the bigger, the 175,000, so I had it in last year's budget as well. What I want.
It says 150.
Whatever numbers, I want to start a tree program, but the first thing I want to get done is an inventory of trees. I think that's pretty good. So. I was told last year that we had a high probability of obtaining a grant for one of the national programs. But that didn't come to fruition because of the requirements of the grants that came through. All of the grants that we were directed to required a level of low income areas that we did not meet in the township area itself, so we didn't qualify. So this year, I think I'm just gonna have to say, I don't care, I'm gonna have to start just the program. So what I think I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna talk to some people about this, is we have the equipment to go out now and, take a picture of the tree, pinpoint it, and then capture it in GIS. So we know, so we could have a picture of the tree, location of the tree, and then I'm gonna hire an arborist to go around and say, that's a good tree, that's a bad tree, that's a good tree. So then we'll have a complete input. And I wanna do this sections at a time. I want to do like 2 or 3 sections to start with, to see how to do it. Somebody asked for volunteers from the public. We're gonna give you the tools to go out and go walk your neighborhood. Take a picture, put the thing on the back, and it'll go up, it'll be on the GIS. Then we'll have, what you have done, let's say you walk down 3 or 4 streets, we'll have an arborist come around and go up and down the 3 or 4 streets. Make sure we identify the trees carefully, and put a note down as to
It addresses everyone's concerns. I think that's really great.
yeah, and then I think what we will have, we'll get an idea how much a true inventory is gonna cost, and this is gonna take a few years to get done, because I think when the expense of it itself, just to hire an arborist to go up the street, is not cheap. In the day with the trees. Then I want to start, hopefully, will hold me to this, some sort of help getting trees replaced. Maybe like we do sidewalks, we do sidewalks now, we'll go half and half. I don't know what that percentage will be, but I hope to be able to do that. And I hope to find some in the village, and I think other communities around. Contract with a nursery who does everything. You come in and say, where do you want the tree? You put the tree there, make them out. Take the whole plant, the tree, and start to do it. And that's what we would like to do.
And this is a process beyond the meadows. I mean.
No, no, it's gotta be township wide.
Right, so
Absolutely.
each neighborhood has to understand that it's not just their neighborhood, it's the whole.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we have, yeah. But it's interesting. Steeple Run, Century Hill, and the Meadows. Meadows was probably Steeple Run older. Meadows is oldest, and Steeple Run and Century Hill. But they're all pretty close to the trees. We're all pretty much the same. They're pretty flat. Yes.
If I can just ask, oh, when you say the township, all the township,
Yes,
is the village included as part of
No.
that? Okay.
just the unincorporated areas.
If I may. So there's a down tree on the corner of Elm and Columbine, newly down.
No, we don't.
Why was that tree taken down?
Did you think of that?
It's down. And that happened this week, I think.
Yes,
that's
true.
So,
And today.
and I'd like to say, it cost me nothing to have an arborist look at my tree.
Oh.
My
Well,
tree.
The homeowner, I'm gonna answer your question. This year, I went around when people called in and wanted their trees trimmed or take a look at.
Mhm.
I walked out there with the homeowners. And I showed them what was going on at the top of the trees.
But you're not an arborist.
Just look, can I talk?
Sure.
Wow.
Thank you. And I asked the homeowner, we can trim it up or we can cut it down. What would you like? They go, we want it removed. I go, here, you have to sign this sheet.
Well, that's,
Gave the permission from the homeowner to cut it down. All these trees we cut down this year have, except for 3 sheets, have a homeowner's permission to cut the trees down. This guy here, the one you're talking about, there was a big rot spot on the side of it. I took my knife, I got a knife this long. I stuck the whole blade right through the trunk. I told the homeowner, it still looks pretty good, we can probably trim it up, let it go for a couple of years. He come in the next day, talked to our secretary, and said he wants it taken down. His wife said he wanted to take it
Well,
down.
I'm glad there's communication with the homeowner because that hadn't happened in the past.
It didn't happen last time. It happened this year.
That's an improvement, thank you.
It's a
Okay.
significant improvement, especially when you come to the
You
table.
don't have to chime in all the time.
Well,
With all due
it's a
respect.
You need to take
With all
over.
due respect, I think it's important because.
And I acknowledge that, but my neighbor's tree
Thank you.
was healthy and it was taken down. Just the board members. Just.
Trustee Page.
So you said the split trees, is bad trees, some trees are in between.
Yeah.
The arborist came to my house today.
Uh-huh.
And he said the one on the parkway there, there's a few branches at the top that look like they could be pruned back, stuff like that. He said the silver maples were fast growing. They were planted there because the ashes in the area were okay. And that's been at least since 1991, we did.
Uh-huh.
So, but he said a couple of it could be trimmed back, but it's not a bad tree. All of these is maybe a potash fertilizer. So are there in between trees? I mean, good tree, bad tree.
Oh,
Are there
sure,
some that are kind
Sure.
of?
No, I think the way they do it, no homogeneous, but I think they would look at a tree like you're talking about and say, that's probably good for X to X years.
Mhm.
And then you can watch that when that first X comes up, say. do I need to do something? Now, with respect to trimming, very hard to do. Takes a
Especially up
lot.
there where you said. up very
Exactly.
top.
Well, we got a big project. We're big lift. But it's very hard to do, takes a lot of time, and we have other duties, so
Yeah.
it doesn't normally affect the safety of the road district. So
He
it
said
gets
there was
pushed in the
no
back.
issue with
Yeah.
that, believe it or not.
You may want
I
to
don't
bring it
intend
back
to
into
Maybe
the.
somebody go up in the tree, but, and have a few little snippings like that, so thank you.
Okay, Trustee Page.
Quick question.
Yeah.
I'm in Naperville. We do the 50/50 Parkway program. So city pays half, we pay half.
Uh-huh.
City plans it. They're supposed to come and trim. They don't as often as they should,
Right.
but that's fine too. What they've been doing lately though is they've been identifying through the city, I guess they're like non-native or what they call invasive
Yeah.
trees.
Right.
And they're taking them down and replacing them, like I think what Bradford Parish have been identified is like, they don't want them on the parkway at all, right? Those are the ones that peel like bananas and it's right. They're beautiful, I love their canopy, their color,
Right, we
but
had
they
two of
start
them.
branching out like very low on the trunk, so when you get a storm, they just fall apart.
Yeah.
Is that, maybe speak to somebody and they have an arborist on staff in Naperville and see if he's got, so they were doing a lot of red buds, right? So when the tornado came through 4 years ago now, all of the trees that were taken out on the parkways, they're replacing them with like red bud trees and more like non-invasive, so they're tiny, right?
It's
When
gonna take.
I grew up in Oak Lawn, right, and we had elm trees that just arched over the street. I've got two enormous elms in front of my house right now. I love that, right? It's hard to lose that beautiful canopy, but with a plan in place,
Right.
to go through over the years.
I appreciate it.
That's what we're trying to get. It's a long. process. It's gonna be
Exactly.
expensive.
It's not gonna happen overnight, right?
Thank you.
Okay, Trustee Robinson.
See what they're doing.
There's no public hearing. That's what I'm saying. I can say that.
Yeah. I was just asking if we can approve the motion, attorney has indicated that there wasn't a public hearing.
Yeah, that's correct. And on the agenda it says, to approve the road district 2025-2026 budget. In order to approve a budget, there needs to be a public hearing.
Yeah, it's the tentative budget.
It doesn't say that on the agenda, is what I'm saying. So it's a OMA violation.
Perhaps we should change it. then.
Yeah, we can do.
Make a motion to amend the agenda on item number 13. I would like to amend motion to approve Lisle Township Road District, the 2025-2026 budget to the
You just want to say tentative.
tentative budget.
25.
Okay, tentative 25-26
Right.
budget.
And I guess there's not 30 days between this meeting and the next meeting, so it's gotta be a meeting after that. for final.
Yeah, the highway commissioner is correct.
Okay, any other discussion? And a roll call vote, please.
So this is on the motion to amend. correct?
It's-
So,
To approve the intent
It's
to
to
serve?
approve the tentative.
okay, okay.
Mhm.
Trustee McGovern?
Yes.
Trustee Guys?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Supervisor Hewitt?
Yes.
Thank you.
So the public budget hearing will be in the May meeting, or before the May meeting, for the road districts. Full approval to be in the meeting after that. Okay, thank you. Then we have agenda item 14, discussion and possible action on the amended fiscal year 24-25 budget and appropriation ordinance for Lisle Township.
Make a motion to approve the amended 24-25 fiscal year budget and appropriation ordinance for Lisle Township.
Thank you, trustee Robinson and trustee Geist. Any other discussion? And a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee Guys? Trustee McGovern?
Yes.
Trustee Page?
Yes.
Supervisor Hewitt?
Yes. Discussion and possible action on the tentative 2025. Sorry, on the tentative should be off. Well, no, it is the 25-26 fiscal year budget and appropriation ordinance for Lisle Township.
Well, the agenda should not say tentative, correct?
Right.
All right.
So we have to amend it first.
No, you
No,
don't. You just approve the
Okay.
25-26 fiscal year.
I'll make a motion to approve 25-26 fiscal year budget and appropriation ordinance for Lisle Township.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? And roll call vote, please.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee Page?
Yes.
Trustee McGovern?
Yes.
Trustee Guys? Supervisor Hewitt?
Yes. Okay, next is discussion and approval of the agenda for the April 8th meeting. A direction for Lisle Township, clerk to give notice of the annual meeting and agenda. So it's the agenda, the rules, anything else. Clerk Polowitz, do you have any details of where? And I assumed it was gonna be the next. There's gonna be where we've been. having
Yeah,
this.
so we've been, yes, we're pending, not penciled in, for the senior high. We have that tentative with your approval tonight, for April 8th. And, you get to choose the time, but it's at 6:30 last time. It looks to me, and please tell me if anything's different on this annual town meeting agenda that you had last time. The only thing I think I would, suggest on the agenda is we're,
The only thing I took out was the things that pertain to last year, which was the agreement that was needed for the 21-21 building. So that was the only thing that I took out.
and the question would be, is if you needed or wanted any wording in there about disposing of surplus property throughout the year.
And also, I think you had a date on it.
Yeah, number 14.
On the 14th,
Number should be
for the
2026.
following.
Oh,
it should be
2026.
26,
Yep.
Right.
So does anybody want to amend this agenda to have the wording of surplus property throughout the year? To be like what we've been doing, which is put it on for action. So we're not waiting a year. Or they are not right now.
So release, dispose, I don't know what you say.
How do you want to word it again? Motion?
Maybe the attorney can help us.
So you're trying to,
Get rid of.
Throughout the year.
you guys do a resolution?
We don't have one, so we could add one, a resolution,
I'm just
basically,
trying to see what you guys' method is, because some
Right.
my other townships have a resolution.
we could have a resolution.
So resolution authorizing the township to,
Yeah.
Or-
Well,
Okay.
no, it would need to be a resolution passed at this hearing, at this meeting.
Correct.
So that if there's a computer that dies, we don't have to wait a year to throw this thing out. So you could help us make a resolution.
I can,
It's
want
been, in the past, I think it's just, there hasn't been a resolution, it's just been a motion.
Yeah,
so
and
motion
we're-
to approve
okay, so motion to approve the release of surplus.
the township, motion to approve township's
Disposal.
ability to dispose of surplus property. That's what it should be. Yeah,
Township
4-year,
The trustees to dispose of.
the township board, correct. So a motion to,
Motion to approve the release of.
a motion to delegate authority
Yeah,
to the township board to dispose of surplus property. Sorry, I'm looking at the township's resolution. That's why we do resolutions.
motion to delegate authority to the township board.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion.
It was a wordful.
I
To
tried.
delegate authority to the township board on the disposal of surplus property when needed. I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion on this motion?
I would say for the 12-month period, I'm sorry. You can add that, for the 12th.
When needed during the 12-month period.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Second.
I think trustee Guy seconded it. Or sorry, trustee Page seconded it. Okay, any other discussion on that? In a roll call vote, please.
Trustee McGovern.
Yes.
Trustee Page.
Yes.
Trustee Geis. Trustee Robinson.
Yes,
Supervisor Hewitt.
Yes.
Um,
Any other changes with the agenda?
I don't think you approved the agenda. I think you just, right, or is that in
we
addition
didn't approve it.
onto the agenda?
Well,
Yeah,
that,
you
that,
have to approve the
Right.
agenda.
Okay.
So we're,
The agenda.
Yeah.
I'll make a
Fine.
motion to approve
What-
the agenda for the Lisle Township annual town hall meeting.
oh,
I just have one more comment, I'm sorry. A lot of our other townships, and I apologize, I'm not sure if Ross informed you guys, but we usually have, townships have a resolution to delegate authority to the township board to purchase, sell, and lease property. I'm not sure if that's something you guys, I believe you guys did that last year, but don't quote me on it.
we did not.
You did
and
not? Okay.
I'm sure that would open a whole can of worms that
What's
we
an
do not
elected-
want to do. So let's not do that, or,
Just want to throw it out there because all our other townships are.
yeah, that would be normal, but we're special. So,
Unique, not special.
is there any other changes?
Awesome.
well, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as stated with the inclusion of the motion to dispose of property with the change of the date for the next year to 2026. Well, to the next town meeting, April 7th of 2026.
Second.
And then any other discussion in a roll call vote, or sorry, Assessor Trowbridge?
I'm wondering if you put it in the form of a formal resolution. And it's actually part of the record. Lisle Township has a resolution that is very rather verbose, but it's 3 pages, but if you want me to read it, if you'd like to read it in the record, it would be identical to what they use, and they're able to do that disposal to their council.
Yeah, that was my firm who drafted that. That's what I suggested originally, so I agree with the assessor.
So the only difference is Naperville Township then can do like property, like, for example, buying a building, like it wouldn't have to be a special meeting to do that, and that's where I think our township would defer. So we would just be specifically saying like, essentially non-geographic property
I think this is-
as opposed to full property, like a computer,
Like me to read it in?
or you can read it in.
3 pages. Sorry, that was a bit glib, but does it talk about real property or is it just talking about?
And all you have to do is substitute the area where they say purchase / sell or lease, it's just put in disposal of. You just, you put the disposal of, you do not include the purchase, sell or lease in the language.
But you need that tonight, or can you just have it?
Yeah, you can just approve the language, yeah, the agenda, and then we can have the resolution for you guys next time, if that's what you like. That's what I was suggesting.
That sounds great. Cause we're not gonna have
Whatever you guys want,
we're not gonna have
a motion.
the resolution written right now.
Okay.
Okay, great. So then, we're still at discussion. Any other discussion? In a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee Geist?
Yes.
Trustee McGovern?
Yes.
Trustee Page?
Yes.
Supervisor Hewitt?
Yes. And the rules for the meeting, they'd be the same. I didn't change anything except for the date.
And that has.
The wrong year.
Oops, sorry. Yeah,
I just realized that.
so and report of officers. So everyone has 3 minutes. As prior. This was exactly like last year's, right?
Literally,
Mhm.
I just. It's right, yeah. Okay, is there any other discussion? Would somebody like to make a motion to keep those rules?
I'll make a motion to continue with the same rules from the inner town hall meeting from 2024 to this year, 2025.
A second.
And then any other discussion? Trustee McGovern?
I just want to point out that it is right after our spring break for our residents. So we might want to start advertising early so people don't come back like that.
Okay, trustee Robinson,
Well, on that same point, I just want to say that the motion actually says that give the township clerk the legal right to give legal notice of the annual town hall meeting. Do we need to include that in the motion as well? No?
No,
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Does it have to be 30 days?
It's 15 days, right?
Oh,
yeah,
Okay.
great, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Geist?
Yes.
Trustee Page?
Yes.
Trustee McGovern?
Yes.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Supervisor Hewitt?
Yes. Okay, great, then discussion of possible action to approve a cost of living increase of 3% for all township full-time and part-time employees in the supervisor's office. Jim, would you like to begin that discussion, or do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay, it's, basically, well, close to inflation. Any other discussion?
Yeah, actually, I would. I know that we put this on the agenda for 3%. I would like to, if it's possible, to speak to my fellow board members to consider increasing that to 4%. Given what we're facing right now, the staff received, I believe it was 6% last year. But that was because they had not gotten a raise or a review since they were onboarded here, right, in 2021 and 2022. Prices are going up, they're not coming down anytime soon. I value the staff that we have here, we have developed them, they continue to develop, they continue to grow, they continue to serve this public, and they're not the highest paid people on this planet. I would suggest going up to 4%, but that's just my suggestion.
I think retention is key.
Completely.
The continuity
Trustee
of
Geist?
services.
Any other discussion?
Is that enough?
I think for now, I think that with the next board, perhaps there could maybe be some adjustments made, but I think, speaking to the previous, admin and knowing what we gave last year, we were thinking 3%, but I'm thinking now 4 would be.
I don't know what the rate of inflation is, but I think since the last time that you gave raises, it's more than 3, I think it's more than 4. I should look that. I mean,
Okay, any other discussion?
Well,
Does somebody
Yeah.
want to make a,
We haven't made a motion yet.
right?
well.
So does anybody want to make a motion?
Can we find out
So
what that
trustee
rate is?
Geist. Raise our
Can we
hands.
find out what the rate is before we make a
Sure.
decision?
the rate, you want to know the CPI rate, or you're asking what was the rate last time you
No,
guys
what the-
provided an increase?
What the rate increase has been, yeah.
2.8%, so less than 4.
And then the year before.
is that for a year, or is that for this year?
20 for February 2025 right now. And for,
No, I think they're asking what was the last time that the township board gave a raise?
it was in last year.
How much was that rate?
6%.
Yeah.
But that
It
because
was
they didn't
two
get-
point nine, it was 2.9 in 2024, 3.4 in 2023. And nobody was hired in 21.
Just, it was always higher than.
So when we do the math, sorry, 3.4 and then 2.9.
2.9 for 24 and 2.8 right now.
I did have discussions with business owners over the course of the week, just saying what, what would you do for your employees? And the first number they said was 3,
Okay.
but we have trained these people.
Well,
Trustee Robinson,
yeah, I think there's two elements here. One is what's the cost of living?
Uh-huh.
The other is there a performance and or a skill-based increment?
That's what I would like to see.
Right, so this is really to address cost of living.
Mm.
I think we do have to have a discussion around adjustment, and that has to be considered on an individual basis.
Mhm.
So this is across the board for everyone to address cost of living. That's what the intent was. I think that's, and I know Jim wasn't part of that, John, like, spent a fair bit of time going through that. He also tried to find out how they were compensated comparable to other townships and other forms of government,
Yeah,
and we didn't make a lot of progress in that
Oh.
discussion.
okay,
Not surprised.
so, okay.
That's where the 3% came from. Just-
Mhm. But we also know that.
Trustee Geist.
But we also know that in the prior years, we have not had the increase that we're anticipating for this year too, right? So
Trustee
the tariffs
Robinson.
on goods.
You're
right?
talking about
Correct.
external pressures
It's
on,
gonna, yes.
right,
The
right.
cost, I think the number I saw calculated was possibly up to $2,000 per household, if not more, annually.
Any other discussion or a motion? Clerk Paula.
And how does that relate to the
I don't
budget
know, I
that
don't
we
wanna
just
respond.
passed?
I wanted the performance review.
What was in the budget?
It was considered 3%.
3%.
So,
We are well within the amount budgeted, even if we
Trustee
go to
Page.
4%, we are well within the amount
Okay.
budgeted for a salary, yeah.
Okay, does anybody want to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion to approve a cost of living increase, but amend the agenda to reflect 4% for all township full-time and part-time employees in the supervisor's office effective April 1st, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second from trustee Geist. Any other discussion? Trustee
Does this
McGovern?
include Elected officials.
No.
No.
Just-
Definitely not.
Just checking.
Trustee McGovern.
can you tell me about the performance reviews? Have we been
They are
through one
complete.
cycle?
Yes.
Okay, so they are complete.
John took care of that, yes.
Okay,
Yes, he's spent a lot of time sitting with each member.
and without going through like. But the general populace of our township, they did well, I
Yes.
would assume, okay.
Yes,
So knowing that, can we insert something about performance reviews into this?
This is
Give
just
it-
the cost of
This is
living.
cost.
Cost of living, okay.
The performance can be separate.
But I think we need to talk about what we would give in order to figure out this number, because it does affect our overall. Like, what would you give for a performance review, a 1%?
Well, right now, the
Right.
motion is for this, and that would be a
But it
different,
affects it.
it would affect the
Affects their
budget.
salary, it affects the budget,
So
so I'm just curious.
we're well within the range from a budgetary perspective to have one or whatever they decide to give in the future.
Perfect.
Okay, so any other discussion? And a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Page?
yes.
Trustee Geist?
Yes.
Trustee McGovern?
Yes.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Supervisor Hewitt?
Yes. Okay, great.
Pause for effect.
Next, we have the supervisor's report. And there were 730 families served, 1,905 people served from the food pantry. Last month, it was a short month. The numbers were all added into the spreadsheet there. 20 GA cases in February, 12,827 was distributed in rental assistance, 18,196 was distributed in total assistance. There were 165 rides in February, 564 for the full pace program, 67 passport applications. And there's, of course, going to be Lisle's Sustainable Saturday on March 15th, this Saturday, 9 to 12, and you don't have to live in the village of Lisle to come to the Sustainable Saturday. The other thing that I'd like to remind people of is what a Gish Gallop is. What a Gish Gallop is misrepresentations and outright lies. So many and so fast, it's hard to respond. There are some people here that do that on this board. It is quite offensive. Thank you. That is my report, and then we have
I don't know, I don't see it on
What
there.
was that?
So-
that's the definition of what a Gish Gallop is.
Thank you.
Yes, you all have done that. Okay,
Make a
review,
motion to
yes, you
recognize.
did. Review and approval of the 25-20.
You need to
Okay.
scratch that off.
Oh,
That's on
That's so
record.
inappropriate.
This is not on
It's
the
a,
form, but it's on.
right, it's a
It's so
definition that needed to be in there.
Well, there's lots of
review-
definitions that need to be in there, but we're refraining because we're having professional etiquette. Continue.
Didn't raise your hand. Review and approval of the 25, February 12th and the February, we didn't, in the February 24th special township meeting.
I will just note the one change from the when I first initially sent out, it would be for the 2020, I'm sorry, the, February 24th meeting. Item number 6, I just added the AED was not approved, and I added the motion has, items number 1 through 7, just for clarification. It was brought to my attention that we should add those.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of
I'll
the special
second.
board meeting, February 24th, 2025.
Okay, any other discussion? In a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Page.
Yes.
Trustee McGovern. Yes. Trustee Geis, Supervisor Hewitt.
Yes. Okay, minutes are approved. Any old business? Trustee Geis.
Sorry, we just approved one. minute. One-
No. Oh. did you
I
have
thought
to
you
vote?
said.
I just said the 20, did I say both? One.
No, I think you just said the 24.
Oh,
Because I didn't know if you were gonna make any corrections to the 2021.
No, I don't think.
Okay, fine, then I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the February 12th, Lisle Township regular scheduled board meeting.
I'll second.
okay, any other discussion? In a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Page.
Yes.
Trustee McGovern.
Yes.
Trustee Geis, Supervisor Hewitt.
Yes. Okay, old business. Trustee Geist.
Were in September of 2023, by bipartisan vote of this duly elected board, there was a vote of no confidence placed on the supervisor due to numerous reasons. We're not going to go back through that, but for the record, I just want to make sure that we highlight that. That has not changed.
Any other old business? New business? Reports of elected officials. Anyone have any reports? Highway Commissioner Young.
Yeah, on August 11th, 2023, you were notified about that $60,000 grant from the state for building and storage facility improvements. Over a year and a half has passed, and you haven't started the process of collecting money. The road district was notified by state representatives that the project that was completed before even the grant was awarded would qualify for the $60,000. The road district offered twice to submit its project, collect the $60,000 and give it to the township. You declined twice. Your refusal to work in a bipartisan manner certainly hurt the township.
To be clear, we're going down the process and there's been a whole lot of work with making sure that we get those $60,000 for the windows, which you all wished to have for
We
that
could have had
grant,
the
so,
$60,000 long before now.
or wish to get windows. Okay, any other reports of elected officials? Trustee Robinson.
Yeah, I just want to say, I mean, this has been the least pleasurable part of my professional experience. You know, we still have public comment, assuming that money grows on trees. Hire this person without any plan, without any guidance as to how that person is to effectively administer and deliver programs within the community. That is what we have been dealing with for the last 4 years. I hope, and we can't talk politics, but I certainly hope the next board is at least as conscious of making prudent investments in the future in the delivery of services for this township. And I do take offense to the supervisor's comment about the behavior of this board. This has not been a cohesive board. It goes all the way around this table, but I think the majority of the accredited lies with one person, and I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you, Trustee Robinson.
Any other elected officials reports? Okay, we need to, does somebody want to make a motion and, Attorney Priscilla, could you help? with
I'll make a motion to go into closed session under Illinois CS 122C1 to discuss and consider the discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the township.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? And a roll call vote?
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Page.
Yes.
Trustee McGovern.
Yes.
Trustee Guys.
Yes.
Supervisor Hewitt.
Yes. So we